thank you for joining us. We have three lovely gentlemen here today from the Canning Ag Society. Now, I know that isn't the whole title of that, so would anyone like to elaborate what that stands for? Kevin, perhaps?
Yes, it's the Canning Agricultural, Horticultural and Recreation Society. Right. It started over 107 years ago, but they've shortened it now to Canning Ag.
Much easier to remember. I think that worked well for me. Yeah. And you're here today, guys, to talk about the men's shed.
Yes.
Now, Kevin, I know that you've been involved in this for a very long time. You started off many years ago as a volunteer. So tell us a bit about the process and how it all came about.
Well, we started many years ago as an Apex member, doing the gates to sort of provide labour. And from there, I finished up on the committee for the show. And after a number of years, the gardens were getting in disrepair, so I started doing them on a voluntary basis and quite enjoyed the process. And then Len joined me, and we thought that when we retire we might start a men's shed, or a men's club in those days, but since then life's moved on and it's now the going thing as a men's shed. So we're branching out and forming a men's shed.
Wonderful. Now, when I hear the term men's shed, I literally think of men in a shed with tools, banging things about. Is that the sort of thing you do, Len, or is there a bit more to it than that?
Yes, we do that sort of thing. There is more to it, and it becomes a support group, really, and a social outlet for people like myself and Kevin and those that are retiring from the workforce. Ladies have established a lot of networking over the years, and men come to retirement and suddenly find themselves, well, what am I going to do next? So we're establishing the men's shed at Cannington and giving people an outlet for social interaction.
Great, and it sounds like it's something that is definitely needed for men when they get to retirement. Are you finding that?
Yes,
are there a lot of people interested?
I believe that there is a need in our society. Men's sheds are established in Australia, and they're growing in numbers because they are a part of the community.
Great. And of course, we're here today to talk a bit more about the event that you have coming up. And Ryan, would you like to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, as Kev said over here, you know, he started off many years ago as a volunteer. And prior to any sorts of events we did hold, it has been the major event, the annual Canning Show, in which we've sort of invited the community along to each year, which sees an average of 10,000 people through the gates. And I suppose as time has grown and developed, there's been a pattern of changes in the way of you know, the public's participation, and one of which we like to contribute to the community is encouraging, and it's one of our objectives, the interaction of different aspects in forms of racing, sports, cultural affairs such as theatre, music, sports, racing, and I suppose that part of helping the community in these different kinds of affairs is the fact that the committee pitches in, and Ken and Levin themselves are on the committee of the Canning Ag Society, but they have now brought the steering committee of the men's shed together, and in doing so need a bit of support. So to establish this men's shed, the Canning Ag Society has formed this comedy night which will be held on May 17, and we've got some national guest artists coming along, some comedy stand-up speakers to come. So it'll be a really fun night where people, you know, have a chance to come and sit back and listen to some good old Australian humour and have a laugh at themselves and the way of life. And we've got another organisation on board, Stargate Actors Academy, who'll have some characters running around the room with tins as robbers, you know, raising some funds which hopefully will go towards helping the men's shed establish themselves in purchasing tools, promotional materials, signage, first aid kits. What are some of the other stuff we need, guys?
Just basic setting up costs, office material, incorporation fees, advertising, that sort of thing.
Great. So lots of things are needed to get this established.
Yeah.
So sounds like a fun event. So we'll encourage everybody to get down and offer their support.
Absolutely.
And might expect a bit of comedy from some of these guys here as well.
Yeah, well.
Maybe. Thank you very much for joining me on the show today. If you'd like to find out more, visit thecouch.com.au. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Back to you, Fred.
Thank you very much. How close is that?
I know.
May 17, eh?
May 7th.
And did I hear that one of you is 170 years old? 107, you look good. If that's what men's sheds do for you, Australia, get in now, because I don't reckon there's many spots. I can see Len wanting to join straight away. Thank you very much.